Welcome to Make Shit Happen. My guest today is Michael Ray. Michael, thank you for hanging out with me today and my in Make Shit Happen Studios. Thanks for taking this opportunity to spend some time with me. And I apologize about the time zone. So for people,
Stop, man. Look, hey, anybody who's got a title of a show, Make Shit Happen, and has me on the board, I'm all about you letting you be late.
I got you right there.
And plus to your name, I only have one son, and his name is Sam.
Oh man, there you go.
So that's a beautiful thing, man. So yeah, I'll never forget you.
He's a great guy. He has a great name.
That's exactly right, my man.
We call him Sam, Sammy, Samuel. What do you call
So
him?
his name's Samuel, but so what's funny is he's kind of transitioning from Sammy to Sam because he's 14 now. So, it's a lot easier when you're 5, 6, 7 years old going, Sammy, come here. Now at 14, I think it's starting to wear a little thin. So.
Yeah, and then I bet you when he gets older, like 40, 45, my age, he'll be okay with Sam.
That's right. But I guess on some level, he'll always be my Sammy because that's really what we called him. Yeah.
So you have this nonprofit foundation called Project Smile, right?
Smile Project Louisville.
Yeah. So tell me about the Smile Project a little bit.
So basically, it's just an intersection of a relationship that I have with my 21-year-old, Down syndrome daughter who can't. I say she can't speak. She's nonverbal. She might say enough words you can count on one hand, but she doesn't even put 2 or 3 words together. And I often tell people what we take for granted as parents is that we always hear our kids say, I love you. And when you never hear that as a parent, just those 3 simple words, for me, that was always my affirmation for my daughter because we'd be joking around and I would say just something, oh, you love daddy so much. And it was her speaking through a smile. And I often say now, as I went through my challenges in life, and I went through a shit ton of them, that she kind of saved my life, brought me out of depression. And then that beautiful relationship that I had with her intersected with a girl at a Wendy's drive-through.
Uh-huh.
And I often say, and we hear that sometimes and we really don't realize that as we run through the normal course of our daily lives, whether we're stopping to get gas, getting coffee at Starbucks, going to the grocery store again, you can go through a litany of things. We don't know what someone else is going through in life. And that's how we react at times because we don't know and somebody may get pissed at us, but yet they just found out they had cancer. So for me, I was on the doorstep of knowing that I was losing my job. I was 48 years old and I'm going, what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life? I was on an awful morning. But here at a Wendy's drive-through, it was just the simplicity of about 30 seconds that made me feel so good. And I say, Sam, I had to process it because when it happened, I literally had to pull over in a parking spot and I broke down crying.
Really?
And I truly had that moment in which I was like, good God, what are you trying to tell me?
Share with us what really happened.
Huh?
Share with us what really happened that day.
Well, so when I say I was in the process of losing my job, it happened the next week. And what made it hard was I was working for a buddy of mine that I knew for 20 plus years, and we were like best friends. And I was processing all of that. And I guess you look at it and going, I really thought I had turned my shit around in life. Failed marriage, failed career, the loss of a son, contemplating suicide. And then again, but I'm living with my parents as a 48-year-old man getting ready to lose his job. And you're like, what the hell is next for me? Where do you go from here?
Yeah.
But in the moment, I don't know why, after about 5 minutes, I composed myself. I laugh about it now. I'm the creepy dude that walked back up through the drive-through window. I waited for the cars to pass. I walked back up, and of course, her first reaction was, "Sir, what's wrong?" And it wasn't what was wrong. I just wanted to say thank you. So I don't know why it's so weird looking back on it, but I just asked if I could take a picture to remember the moment. So I took a picture with Chantrell, and then a couple of days later, I found myself in the gym working out. I crossed paths with another dude. I started talking. I felt good about it. We were laughing and smiling. I took another picture. And then I started doing that. I started taking all these pictures over the course of the next, like 6 weeks. I was taking these pictures and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? But I found such love and joy in these moments with these strangers smiling. And I always, in the moment, I always ask them one thing. Tell me something amazing about you. So I got them talking about them. It made me feel good because in some of these moments, man, I was hugging it out with strangers. And then I was like, again, what am I doing here? And I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'm doing like some kind of smile project or something, And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll start sharing all this shit to social media. So I did. And after about 2 months, I really debated over it. I was like, well, it'll never be big. So I'll just call it Smile Project Louisville and take pictures with people and try to make them happy because I knew it was making me happy too. So I did that for about a year. And I literally say, I had my second epiphany. I'll never forget it. I got out of bed one morning. I took 2 steps to the John like most men do as we start our day. And I was like, shit, if I'm trying to make strangers smile, I wonder what it would look like if I did a random act of kindness. And then, of course, it's like, well, what would I do? Where would I go? How would it look? So I kind of ran through those things in my mind over the course of the next week. And then I said, okay, we're going to go into the inner city. And maybe because I said, look, if I'm going to give something to somebody, well, damn it, I want to give it to somebody who actually is in need. So I'm not going to go into the suburbs and try to find some random person that might not need something. So I did, man. I went into Kroger's in the inner city of Louisville. I had my son, Sam, with me. I had 2 other people who wanted to get involved and tag along. We walked up and down the aisles, and then we were conflicted. We were conflicted because we saw 2 single moms, what appeared to be single. It was 2 ladies with kids. We were like, holy shit, who do we give it to? We had a $50 gift cards to Kroger's. So it was like, all right, God, who do we choose? Help us decide. But we did it. We went down and we did it. We videoed it. I shared it to social media. And people lost their minds because it was the human emotion of a stranger giving something of value to another stranger. She cried in that moment. And we knew going in, we were like, we don't know how we don't know what the reaction's going to be, and it is what it was. It was a white dude giving it to a black lady, but yet it was a beautiful moment, so we kind of kept with that. And of course it just got out of control.
So how long, first of all, so you woke up one morning, had an epiphany, hey, how would act of kindness look? You decided, hey, I'm going to buy some Kroger gift card or whatever it is, go to the inner city, give it, and then someone is recording it while you're doing it?
That's correct. My son was recording it.
Okay. And when you got to these ladies, of course, hey, someone come give me $1, I might be happy. A $50 gift card.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they're carrying, like you said earlier. You don't know what they've been going through. You don't know what they have in their bank. So that $50 might mean the world to them. Now, at this time, are you working?
So yes, I basically so a week later, I lost my job. And of course, you're processing all of that. About 3 weeks went by and I said, all right, I'm done with the corporate world. I have to work. And I went and worked. I was working 60 hours a week driving for Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
So I just said, look, until I figure out my life, this is how I'm going to make money. So I went and started driving for Uber and Lyft, never knowing that as I started taking pictures with strangers, that Uber and Lyft would kind of have been this conduit to meet the most amazing diverse cross section of our planet. Basically, you get, when you do it full time, Sam, I would some days have anywhere from 15 to 25 different strangers, depending how busy I was, in my car. So I'm meeting, and when you do that 5-6 days a week, I was taking 100, 120 rides a week with complete strangers. So again, as I'm doing this and I'm interacting with strangers, I often look back, I never knew the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, as far as why I wanted to take a picture with somebody. But it always just had a way of, presenting itself. Because one day, on Monday, I made two pictures. I might go 3, 4, 5 days without taking one, take one on Friday, take one on Saturday. It was just, I always felt, again, I guess it came back to my faith, that it was like this little tap on the shoulder of going, this is who you need to smile with today.
So now these pictures are still on social media?
They're all on social media, man. So
What
you can go to my Insta
Facebook,
and you can go back.
So what are they on, Facebook or Instagram?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
How if a listener wants to go,
Yeah,
or an audience wants to go, let's look at it. How they do that?
Smile Project Louisville. So if you go to Facebook or Insta and you put in Smile Project Louisville, you're going to find it. You can scroll back through countless pictures and videos.
Now, now let me ask you, what's the most hit you've gotten on one of your posts?
So I've had about 5,000 likes and about 275,000 views on a video on LinkedIn.
Oh man, that's
so again, you put it in perspective. No, I've never, I guess, I consider that viral on LinkedIn.
It is,
but some people may not, because it's not millions of views. But I've had videos on Facebook get 40, 50, 60,000, but I'm usually anywhere on LinkedIn when I do a video of anywhere from about 20 to 100,000. And that's just because, as you would know, we can't control the algorithm when you put something out there and just where it goes and the analytics behind it. So, but it's not about that. It's about whatever the number is. I truly do look at it. Whatever the number is for those number of days in the life cycle of content, is whoever needs to see it, sees it.
Yeah. So now let me ask you, Michael, you do this thing, you go to the inner city, give these ladies gift card. What happened next?
So basically, it evolved, because when you do it at first, it's very intentional. It's intentional because you go, well, where in the hell are we going to go? So we decide where we're going to go. But yet then when you make that decision to take the video and you start sharing it to social media, what you don't realize is the impact and how it inspires the people who watch it. So I don't know, I probably did my first 6 to 8. This would have been like August, September of 2019. So last year now. And then all of a sudden I started getting messages going, well, how do you decide who you're going to go make smile? And then I said what I just said. I'm like, well, we just go. Well, what if I know somebody that needs a smile in their life? And I was like, well, that's interesting. Tell me about this person. So they then would share what was going on in this person's life. And I was like, oh my God, that's an interesting concept. So I got this 28-year-old, 3rd grade school teacher who's battling stage 3 colon cancer and showing up to work every day. And I'm like, wow, you know what? Maybe if we went and hugged it out and made her smile, that would be kind of cool. So it started to evolve then to where it was so intentional. It then started to evolve in people started to watch the videos and reach out to me and tell me someone's story about why they needed to feel loved and smile. So I started getting all kinds of stories. Again, people battling cancer, people who, who lost children, people who lost jobs, people who were working 3 jobs and trying to take care of their parents. I'm hearing all of these stories now of why somebody just needs a breath of fresh air. Again, it goes back to where I kind of started in the roots. We don't know what somebody's going through in life.
Yeah.
And maybe I was just trying to recreate the Wendy's drive-through for an absolute complete stranger. And that was the beauty of it. As we went in through all these moments, no one's ever known we're coming. So it's like now, because I've done, I don't know, 120, 150, I've done so many of these that it's like I'm shooting this 2 to 3 minute reality show. The constant is always me. You occasionally get my daughter, Maddie, who has Down syndrome, goes with me. But what always changes is you never know who's getting something and what their circumstances are in life.
Yeah. Well, that's
So
awesome.
you get that human emotion that somebody gets to see that, and then it is moving. And they all react differently. I don't go in with any, thinking, well, somebody's going to cry on this one, because everybody reacts differently. That's just being a human being. And that's the beauty of it. But the way people respond when they watch what I do, truly, people have smiled, they've laughed, they've cried.
Michael, let me ask
Because
you a question.
I've even been in the moment and I can't stay composed. And I think that's what people love about what I do. And I say this is that I come from a place of just very simple. I keep it real. I'm authentic. I'm transparent. I go into every situation. I never know what I'm going to say. I say about a 15-second prayer and going, God, let the right words come to me in this moment. And that's because, Sam, I get one take.
Yeah.
I don't get a do-over. I don't get to edit. I get one take with a stranger to make them feel loved.
That's awesome. Now, Michael, you've been doing this now for how long in Louisville?
2.5 years.
So people recognize you when you're walking in the street or something?
Yes. And this is usually how it goes. I was out with my kids and some friends on Sunday at a restaurant watching my Cleveland Browns lose, and then I got up to go to the bathroom. Dude turned around and goes, "Hey, wait, you're the smile guy." And that's usually how it starts. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Man. So that's awesome. Like so every like sometimes people see you, they recognize you. They're like, "Oh man, you're the smile guy." That's good. Hey, you know what? That's a good name, smile guy. You're the
You know
smile.
it is, but I'm going to give you a very real story, and this is the beauty of what I do. And where people feel touched and inspired and impacted to be involved. I had a dude last night in Los Angeles sent me a message. I read it at midnight. He goes, "Man, I've been following you for some time. I love what you do." He said, "If I made a donation right now, could I make a request to go give it to somebody?" I was like, "Hell yeah. Who you want to give it to?" He goes, "Man, during this pandemic, there's been so many musicians that are out of work and struggling." He said, "Would you go make a musician smile?" I was like, "You bet your ass. I'll find the right musician." He sent $100, and now I'm figuring out, okay, who's the right musician to go make smile? And that's the beauty of it is, and I had the same thing recently too with a homeless guy I did a video with. And I end up having a guy in England said if you could ever find that same homeless guy, I'll Western Union $100 to you to go back and give it to him. And by God, I was able to figure out where to find him. Dude, over in London, Western Union's me $100. And damn it, if I'm not down there again.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a 50.
And you know what? And that's what, so let me just take you back really quick. When you said if somebody gave you $1, we had that conversation because I sat there and was talking with my kids and my girlfriend. And I'm like, if somebody walks up and gives you $5, how does that make you feel? And then we talked it out. And I said, what about 10? I said, what about 20? And then I finished it with, I said, but what if a complete stranger gave you $50? And that's where we settled because, again, you know, look, if you're a broke ass mom in the hood, $50 goes a long way to help you get groceries. And that's really in the first moment where we settled. And most of what we do is we give $50 to people because it's enough when you're struggling to make you feel good.
Yeah. $50 make, you know, can move your mile. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you $50. Okay. And I want you to go I want you to go find somebody, and we're gonna connect on Instagram right after that.
Okay.
And I want you to make sure when you make that video, you tell them this is for Super Sam from Super Sam.
I'll actually do that and take it a step further, and I'll say, man, my man Super Sam, who loves to make shit happen, baby, is responsible for making you smile today.
Done deal. Now I do stuff like this all the time. We do, because I mean, I've been like, I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed that I've had a good business. I've had good success and everything. Matter of fact, my company, we are doing 300 mattresses on November 21st. 300 queen size mattresses to 300 people. We just launched it last week. People are sending us email.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people are sending us emails saying, hey, and man, the first day we had it on, people like, we got about 100 emails. And I mean, like, okay.
100 people.
100. I mean, and we are going to give away 300 mattresses. Now, of course, we have had some people that say, oh yeah, I can't afford one. And, we look at their social media and they're at the club. They ain't getting one. But I mean, people with a legitimate need. I mean,
Yeah.
So you know what? That day when we give away those mattresses, me and you are gonna do. I'm gonna do a little. I'll FaceTime you or do an Instagram live.
Hey, you know what, man? I've literally had people FaceTime me. I had one about 2 weeks ago where a buddy who's followed me for about a year was sitting at Outback by himself. He had just finished dinner. He said, dude, I want you to watch this. And this is how that level of people watching who are inspired, because look, 99% of how this works is people don't video, man. It's about the shit you do in your life that, so, but he did it. And my daughter and I were sitting there watching, and she ended up crying right there.
Really?
I mean, dude made her weekend. Giving her a $50 tip on a $15 meal.
Oh,
I mean, but that's the beauty of it. So when you say that, I love the idea because I did it that one time, and you have the you can on FaceTime on an iPhone, you can actually record. You can take a screen grab.
I'm gonna do it. So also what we do, and I mean, man, I'm telling you, like, sometimes people, this is my 5th year doing this thing. We do it 12 days of Christmas. So we partner with Walmart and a local news station.
Yep.
Chick-fil-A, right? And because I'm in furniture business, we supply the furniture. Walmart supply, like, toys for Christmas, Christmas tree, like some people don't have a TV, so they supply the TV or microwave or whatever it is. Chick-fil-A comes with like gift card for, I mean, I think they do like 100 gift cards for like $10 each, right?
Sure.
So and I mean, the news channel, broadcast it all. And people, man, I mean, all I can say is we are blessed, man, because
We are.
people, yeah, there are people. I mean, we can be. I mean, honestly, like I've been at low points in my life, but I'm like, we are blessed because we never had to face that problem where we didn't have sofa to sit on or a bed to sleep on.
So let me add something to that. So I was fortunate. Um, I guess now it's about 2.5 weeks ago that I went and volunteered about 5 hours of my time to give away hot meals and clothes outside to the homeless.
Nice.
And after about the first hour, I walked away crying.
Yeah.
And I decided to shoot a very impromptu video sharing my emotions with my community. And why I was crying was because I have never seen more grateful people for the simplicity of somebody giving them some fried chicken and just a couple of things of clothes. The level of gratefulness that they felt in that moment. And that's the beauty of what you talk about there too. I mean, look, we're some blessed people, man, but there are people out there that are really, really struggling and don't have it. And yet people who live on the streets were thankful.
Yeah.
I'm talking next level thanks.
I mean, that's for sure, man. I mean, we can always say, oh, we can blame this and blame that, and say, oh, I don't have this. The other guy has. He's driving a Mercedes, and look what I'm driving. Shoot, you should be blessed that you have that because there's somebody who will be grateful to have that car that you have, the hoopty.
So I drive a 2012 Honda with 222,000 miles.
you Ubering and lifting everywhere, man.
I ran my miles up, baby.
I bet you before you started doing that, you probably had less than 100.
You know what? I was putting an obscene amount of miles. I was putting roughly about 12 to 1,400 miles a week on my car.
Wow. So tell me, Michael, what is next for Project Smile?
So
what is your
we
vision?
probably would have already done it if it wasn't for the fact of COVID. But on some level, and I don't want to necessarily say scaling it, but look, LinkedIn has given us the platform to be able to go now. I mean, look, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for LinkedIn. To have a national voice, to have a global voice, we are starting to talk about doing some things in a lot of other cities besides what we have done here, because really so far all we've done, Sam, is we serve local but we share it global. So as we get more opportunities to share with the world, it's going, okay, well, let's get in a car, let's go to Cincinnati, let's go to Nashville. And those are two cities I've seen so far, is that I've built amazing relationships with so many people nationally now. It's trying to figure out how we do it safely, but we get out and we start doing it all over the country.
That's good, man. So everyone needs a smile, man. Everyone needs a smile, and that's a good. There's a good.
Hey, dude, it's free, and that's the thing, man. I do it most of the time, giving people money and shit, but you know what? It doesn't cost anything to smile to a stranger.
So tell me why. What is your why? Why are you doing this?
Well, I mean, look, first and foremost, I give all the credit to my daughter. Outside of my faith, I feel like my Christian faith guides me a lot of times in what I do, but I do go back and I have quiet private moments with my daughter, and they're somewhat amusing because I tell my daughter things and she can't talk and I laugh about it, but I do tell her I have thanked her many a times for saving my life. So I guess my why is my daughter. I lost a son 14 years ago, so there are moments I struggle with that. I struggle with legacy. what am I leaving behind, for the world? So I guess I believe that if you bless others, those blessings come back to you.
Yeah.
So I have found such immense joy and happiness through the simplicity of life, and that is by making others happy.
I love it. I love it. Now your daughter is 21 at this point, and you have a son, Sam, who is 14,
I do.
right? And then you said you have lost a son who.
So what was unique about my son Sam is that he had an identical twin brother, Charlie.
Okay.
So we had twin boys, and roughly about 3 months old, Charlie died suddenly. We didn't know to the autopsy, but when the autopsy was performed, he had a rare brain condition that basically killed him instantly.
Oh, sorry.
So the struggle for me for a long time was, once I guess I got over the reality of losing a child, was I had a constant reminder of what he would look like because he had an identical twin brother. It then was brought into the marriage, and the marriage failed for a multitude of reasons. I guess depression. My son died on my ex-wife's birthday. So your life then, and I was defined by so many different things. Success for me was defined by things at one point in my life. I just wanted excess. I wanted more because I was very successful in the mortgage industry. But yet then, where you feel like you're on the top of the world and your happiness is defined by one thing, then everything is taken away from you. And look, I'm the first person to say too, I didn't make some good decisions during those times, bad employment decisions and all that. But again, you then, as you evolve, as I evolved as a father and a man, I started to learn what really was important in life. And I laugh too, and I tell people, I don't own just 2 kids. I own 4. I have 2 others. So I have bookends of Maddie. I have a 19-year-old daughter and a 23-year-old daughter. So it's about evolving in what we go through in life. And sometimes, and I came up with something about a year ago. And when I said this to you earlier, I never know what I'm going to say. And it happened to come up when I was with that 28-year-old teacher suffering colon cancer. And I said, we smile and make others smile because life's hard. It's not easy. But smiling and how you react to things in life is a choice. You can either remain positive, or you can climb down that rabbit hole and you can find a shit ton of depression. And I did, because I was at a place in which I pulled up in front of a small church and I was like, how am I going to kill myself tonight? I can't live anymore. And I cried for about an hour and a half, and I drove away going, no, this is not how it's going to end. And that was 6 years ago. So as you make these choices, you can choose to evolve and get stronger. And my journey took me a lot longer than I probably would have wanted. But I think God was preparing me so that when I drove through the Wendy's drive-through in March of 2018, that I was really ready. I had already created the change in my life, but now I can create that change in the lives of others.
Gotcha. So tell me something. If everything was to be erased today, okay, and someone gives you a pen and a paper and say, Michael, all your social media content is gone, everything is gone. It's time for you to go join the next world hereafter with your Lord, right? Here goes a pen and paper. Write 3 things down. How life should be conducted, and advice you leave for your future generation, your kids, your grandkids, and the world, future world. What will those 3 things be?
I think the first thing is the ability to find such immense happiness in the simplicity of life. And for me, that is in the relationships in selfless love. There's beauty in being less selfish in life. I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is is what my daughter Maddie has taught me in even more so in a pandemic, and that is she doesn't live with any fear, anxiety, or stress. So if you can, and that kind of goes hand in hand with one, if you can remove such those emotions from your life, you can find a place of almost eternal happiness. And I guess the third thing is self-love. We a lot of times, and I tell people this, I love me. But you know what, Sam? I'm no better than you, dude. I'm an equal to you. But I think that if we find a place and we truly understand how awesome and amazing we are, it's amazing to be, you talked about it earlier, it's amazing to be alive. So we don't realize, and that's why sometimes then, and I think all three of those things are kind of collective in some form or fashion, but if you can find a place of such amazing self-love and you can go be selfless and give it away to people, then you don't live in fear. And, you know, all of those things are all tied in together in life. So it doesn't matter then if you live in a 800 square foot shack, you can be happy.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, while you're talking about that, I want to ask you a question. Um, of course, material things will never make you happy. It's what's inside of you, what makes you happy. Uh, but so you found yourself doing, random act of kindness for people, and I know that that was something that an epiphany that you had. How does that really make you feel when you do it? I mean, how does it really make Michael Ray feel?
I honestly have had a range of emotions. And I only say that because each and every one that I have done has been unique in its own right. Okay. So when I say that, I've reacted differently in the moment, almost immediately after the moment, and then even later. And I say even later because I it's funny because this is kind of like sometimes how actors talk about themselves, and I'm not an actor, but it's how they talk about themselves in Hollywood where they can't even watch their own work. But
Yeah.
yet there are times I do enjoy going back and watching multiple times because of the level of emotion. So where it always goes back to me is there's one specific quote in my life that I figured out resonates more than the thousands of things that I have read in my life. And you got quotes on the back of your damn wall, whether it's stay humble, be kind, all that kind of stuff. But it's what the late great Maya Angelou said, and that is people will forget what you did, they will forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. So for me, when you ask me that question, I go back to that because I am a byproduct of how that makes me feel when I do it. And I have those emotions and those feelings in the moment, after it happens. And again, it keeps giving to me because ultimately, as a Christian man, I go back when I say I want to make people smile. There's one fundamental word where it's what it's all about. You know what that is?
What is it?
Love. It's just the ability to love everyone. So if you can find a place, if you can find a place to love a stranger, then damn it, it's easy to smile and talk to anybody. I keep staring at a little weird. I'm a shit ton of weird, man.
Is it a little?
But
weird?
that allows me to do what I do, because people feel that. And I often say, somebody said to me the other day, he's like, what you do is so simple. Anybody can do it. But you know what? Nobody does it for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
And one of them happens to be they're just not me. I'm blessed with the innate ability to be charming, to be loving, all of those things with a stranger, to make strangers feel comfortable immediately.
And you know what else it is? It's a lot of people are scared to do it. So you have the guts to go do it. Go to a stranger. A lot of people can't go to a stranger, even if it makes the stranger feel good. Like Tony Robbins said, life is nothing without giving. I mean, life is everything.
So this goes right along, and this is a really quick story. I was walking out of a Kroger's grocery store, and this was back where I really had only started doing random acts of kindness. And I knew I wanted to do something. There were two black ladies walking out, and this was before COVID. So, and I looked at it and I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to take a picture? And I was carrying bags, and I shifted the bags. I walked up, and I just got in the moment, and I put my arm around a complete stranger. I'm white, she's black. I look at her, and the words that came out of my mouth were, when's the last time a white guy put his arm around you? And she looked up to me and she started laughing, and she said, actually never, and it's about damn time. And then her friend was laughing, I was laughing, and then her friend goes, hell shit, he smells good. He smells and looks good too. And that, you know what? That's all it was. It was like 20 seconds. But again, 9,999 people out of 10,000 won't do that.
Won't do it.
Won't do that. And that's all it was just, again, it goes back to what I just said a moment ago. It was just the ability to show a complete stranger of another race that I love them and I can make them laugh.
One thing that you have said, and I gathered out of it, you know what? When you want to perform an act of kindness, you can't see, you got to see past the color. You got to see past, and one thing you said, Sam, me and you are the same, and us as human beings, my previous guest said, we are all the same. We just grow up in different circumstances and different set of features and different set of characters.
Man, we all bleed the same way. We all take a dump the same way. We all wipe our ass the same way. I mean, we all shove food. We all breathe the same air. It's all the same.
We all human.
Yeah.
We're all human.
It is. And that's why, again, more often than not, when I preach what I preach, I always go back to that same place and that one word. And that is, if you can find a place of love, everything becomes simple, because you don't worry about what somebody else is going to think of you if you do get a little weird, because it is good.
I really want to know, what did the girl at the Wendy's drive-thru tell you?
So what's funny is you're probably, I have now done like 4 different news stories locally. I've been on multiple radio stations. I've probably easily done 150 podcasts, maybe 200. And that is the number one most asked question. And you know what? I always go back to that Maya Angelou quote, is because her name was Chantrell. I have no idea. I can't remember. But the reason why that quote is so memorable for me is because even though that was in early March of 2018, what I don't forget is how she made me feel. And she made me feel so good in that moment. And so that's what I tell people, again, you're going to forget the exact words. You're going to forget sometimes maybe it wasn't about the $50 I gave you. You're going to remember how I made you feel.
Man, you know what? That's what it's all about. After this podcast, I'm gonna call you, connect with you, so I can send you that $50, so that way you can go make someone smile on my behalf.
And we're going to do it, brother. We're going to do it, man.
Even though I'm not in Louisville, I want to do that. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take another $50 and I'm gonna go make someone smile on your behalf.
Thank you. And you know what? I've had people do that. I had a dude a couple of weeks ago was sitting in Sonic and he started videoing and he goes, man, this is for my boy in Louisville. I love him so much. And he damn gave the chick coming out of Sonic $100 bill. That's it. So that's why we video, because it inspires others to do things.
But you know what, Michael, I tell you what, there's one thing that you have done. You have inspired me today. And I mean, look, man, it's all about making people smile. It's all about how like you said, Maya Angelou said, it's not what you said. They'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how
I made them feel, man. It's how you make somebody feel. So this is what I'm going to leave you with, and anyone watching today. And I always say two things in everything that I say and do, and that is be the reason why somebody smiles today. But the secondary byproduct is, and it really goes back to smiling, and that is you can be so happy that when someone else sees you, they become happy too. It's contagious.
I love it.
It's just that simple.
Michael, how can they find you? How can the viewers?
So a multitude of ways. They go to my website, smileprojectlouisville.com. On the two primary socials, again, which is Facebook and Insta, I'm smileprojectlouisville.com. But if you come find and follow me on LinkedIn, it's just Michael Ray.
Michael Ray.
So you gotta find me as Michael Ray on there.
All right, Michael, on your website, you said smileprojectlouisville.com. Do you have a donate button or anything like that?
I do. There's a donate button on there, and the really cool thing, Sammy, about what's on that website is that it has a plug-in. So everything I do that I upload to Facebook is immediately uploaded on the website. So even if you're not on a social media platform anywhere, everything I've done, all the news stories, everything, you can go there, you can watch it. And I promise you this, if you take 2 minutes and watch a single one, you will most likely either smile, laugh, or cry.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, your energy is contagious. So I'm sure just you being around people, it's infectious. I'm telling you. I'm sure they're already smiling, looking at you. And I'm not saying looking at you because you're funny looking, but because of the energy.
Hey, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't worry about what people think about me. So I mean, look, man. Some people think I'm good looking, and some people think I'm ugly, and that's fine too. So.
Hey, as long as you make someone smile, brother.
That's
Michael,
right,
man, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. Hopefully we connect again soon. And if you're ever in Houston, or if you ever decide I'm gonna travel, we'll go make people smile with you.
God bless, brother.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
All right, be good.
You too.